Hello, everybody. I hope that you are doing fantastic. I am so excited to be back on with another episode about channeling. And today I really felt like we needed to talk about the history of channeling because I think it's important to really look back at the channelers or people who are receiving information from the spiritual world, what difference they have made in the world, and how things have really changed through history and how our communities are accepting it. And I am so thrilled to be able to offer channeling services. And I feel like the more that people know about channeling and understand it, the more accepting of it they will be, because I think where fear comes is not having enough information. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have slides. I'm not going to read word for word. I'm not going to read all of the names correctly. So I'm going to try my best. I'm not the best articulate person when it comes to names, but I will try. But there are 11 people that we're going to talk about. But before we do that, I want to talk about the indigenous tribes. And I mean, from centuries and centuries and centuries, they would do trance channeling during their ceremonies. And they would get in this trance state. They would receive information about how to guide them and their tribe, and also for healings as well. Now, to me, because this was really important, since I grew up as a Christian, I thought this was a very interesting that a lot of people who channeled, and of course they were saints and prophets, and they would channel the angels and they would channel God for information. Now, if they channeled anything outside of the angels and God, it was not accepted. And of course, as the church got older, the thoughts of channeling changed, as we all know. So let's go ahead and talk about the history of channeling and about the different people and what they brought to the world. All right, so we're going to have to start with oracles. Back then, they were not called channelers, they were called oracles. And I find it very interesting because in the very beginning, just like the Christians, is that they would channel in to their God, and they would channel into angels. And you can see through history as things have changed. And I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But let's go ahead and talk about a couple of oracles. And another fact that I want to bring up is most of them the oracles would help the king, the queen, during, and of course, and Alexander the Great was one that this oracle helped. And if they were wrong or they lost in battle, and the king or queen did not like their advice, they were put to death. So hopefully that is not going on still. we could be wrong because things change, and we all know that. All right. So during ancient Greece, here's another oracle. Channeled the god Apollo, and of course guided political and personal decisions. We have Joan of Arc, who also received visions and guidance from saints and angels. And she, of course, was in the military successes and leading France, and she became a saint. Emmanuel, okay, he was a scientist. He received, again, visions and guidance from spirits and angels. So you can see a pattern right now is where they're receiving their guidance. So his writings on the afterlife and spiritual realms influenced the development of the new church. And so we're beginning to see the new age develop and all the philosophical movements develop. All right, so Helena co-founded the Theosophical Society and claimed to channel wisdom from ascended masters. So see how it's beginning to change? Not only, back now we're beginning to see that they're channeling messages to help the community, not just the king and queens, but also the community as well. And her information is also bringing in the new age thought. So it's also bringing in that spirituality as well. Edgar Cayce, we all know who he is. Okay, so he is known as the sleeping prophet. And he would get in a very, very deep sleep and, give in a trance state, not sleeping. I think it's very interesting that his nickname is the sleeping prophet. And he did provide medical diagnosis, spiritual guidance, prophecies, and spiritual guidance. And of course, his readings have influenced holistic health, metaphysics, and spiritual development. And I love his prophecy. So if you're interested in Edgar, his prophecies are very interesting. And some things are becoming true. So I think it's very, very interesting. All right, Jane Roberts. I do remember her. She was famous in the 60s. And I remember her as I was growing up. But she channeled an entity named Seth. So see how we're getting away from receiving messages from gods and angels. And now we're beginning to have spiritual entities come into the channeling world. So Seth produced a series of books that explored consciousness. And how much do we talk about consciousness now? So this is great where it started. Reality and human potential. The Seth material has been highly influenced in the New Age movement and personal development literature. So what a great period of work that Seth has really provided us. Now, J.Z. Knight channels Ramtha, okay, another spiritual entity who claimed to be an ancient warrior and a spiritual teacher. She founded the School of Enlightenment, which offers teachings on spiritual growth and self-empowerment. And again, how this movement is changing to more of a spiritual movement. Alice, okay, was claimed to channel the Tiberian master. And it wrote numerous books on spiritual and historic subjects. Her work laid the foundation for modern theology and the New Age movement. So again, of works, and it's very interesting how many women have been famous channelers all these years, and they were able to actually speak, even though in society it was very difficult to speak. All right, so here's Neil. He wrote the Conversations with God book and claiming to channel messages from God. So here we go back to receiving messages from God. His books have inspired many people to explore spirituality and personal growth from a non-traditional perspective. And I think that is so interesting. So Esther Hicks, and this is someone who is currently doing this as well, channels a group of entities known as Abraham. Through her books and workshops, she teaches the law of attraction and other spiritual principles significantly influence the self-help and personal development fields. So see how it has not community. We started with helping the kings and the queens and hopefully not getting killed and being correct. And then leading to helping our communities more spiritually and with our prophecies. And now it's also coming into not only the consciousness, but also how to help us find out who we truly are individually. So I love how, and even though I think it's all the same, but the emphasis are a little bit different. It's almost like the spiritual world knows what we need at that time. And so they send out the spiritual entities who are going to give us messages through a channeler. And that is the information that we need at that time. And so I find the history just very, very fascinating. So, and I know that history is still being made. And I know that, and I don't believe, I did not pick one, that currently there are so many channelers who are in touch and who are receiving messages from, the stars, from different I don't want to call them aliens because I don't know if I like that word or not, but people not from this world. They're able to channel through and channel messages. And they're telling us that these entities are helping us move forward in our spiritual journey. They're not going to interfere, but they are going to give us some messages that will help us move forward. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. Before I go, I am going to do some cards because I know everybody loves cards and always love to kind of think about what you need to work on this today. Or maybe it makes you think about an idea or something that you need to work on individually. So let's go ahead and pull 3 cards. So think of the number 1, 2, or 3. See where you're being pulled. All right. Oh, I'm being told let's do the top. So let's do the top. Archangel Gabriel, messenger of creativity and hope. Isn't this perfect? So if you are really needing help and you are just not able to move forward and think positive, or just need some enlightenment, call Archangel Gabriel and get some channeling done there, or just ask for this angel to come in and just to give you some guidance and some hope. All right, so that was number 1. Let's do number 2. Self-reliance. Don't be afraid to fly solo. So to find yourself, think about who you are. Think about who your true, authentic self is and show the world. You don't have to follow the community. You can be your own person and show them how it is done. All right, let's do card number 3. Battle of the Blues, take steps forward to positive change. And I think a lot of this channeling that we're talking about is messages and information that we need so we can get out of the battle of the blues, because God is there for you. The spirit world is there for you. So we should not be afraid. And if you are feeling, depressed or finding those blues, just know that you can find that self-empowerment inside you, and just feel what you're feeling at the time and let go of it and try to bring yourself up and bring up your energy. So battling of the blues. All right. So I am so excited about offering, this channeling to you. And there's some services that I'm going to talk about the closer that it gets, so that we can open it up and you can understand what I am actually providing. Now, if you need a discovery call, and if you are needing some guidance and you just don't know what you need, I am willing to do a discovery call with you. Get on Zoom. So if you hear this message and you need a discovery call and you need to get together with me, then in the comment section, put discovery. And I will get a hold of you so that we can make the appointment and find the time to do it. All right, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this history of channeling. And I just love talking about people and their accomplishments and how things change. That is the educator in me, I believe. So I hope you have a fabulous day and many blessings. And I hope that you are taking good care of yourself and getting rid of being low. All right.